Hello, friends, and welcome to the Photographer Podcast. I am your host, Jaime Bugby, and I help family photographers get booked with family photography clients through their website so they can get off social media and stop feeling like they have to run ads and turn their website into a true 24/7 lead machine that works for them even when they're offline. So today's conversation is such a good one. I have the amazing Katie Emanuelson. I am so excited to welcome her. Katie is a former nurse turned multi-six-figure family photographer and educator. She's widely known as the queen of mini sessions. She's built a business that supports her life and family without burnout, and now she teaches photographers how to run profitable, sustainable businesses through smart systems, pricing, mindset, and yes, incredibly strategic mini sessions. Katie has such a grounded and practical approach to growth, and I know this conversation is going to be incredibly helpful for photographers who want to work smarter, not harder. So, Katie, I'm so glad you're here.
Oh, nice.
Well,
Thanks for
you
having
are
me on your
amazing.
podcast. Well, thank you. That's really sweet.
Yeah. So,
Happy to be here.
photographers that are new to you, tell us about yourself and where you're from, and a little bit about home life. You're a mother of three.
Yeah, so I am based in kind of the middle of Wisconsin, between Madison and Milwaukee in the suburbs. I have three kids. They're all getting to those older ages now. So I'm an old mom. My youngest is 7, and then I have a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old. So they're all in school now, which is sad. I miss the
Yeah.
baby stage. But
Mhm.
yeah, so I got started in photography when my oldest was born, and she will turn 12 next month. So it's been 12 years. I bought a camera off of Groupon. I found just like a
Wow.
refurbished model on Groupon, and then I bought a 50 millimeter lens. Maybe I bought a 35 because I had like a DX model and not an FX or whatever. But I just taught myself how to take photos of her because I don't know. It just was so life changing to me to become a mom. And I feel like that is every photographer's story. It's so
Mhm.
cliche, but I had no interest in photography prior to that. And yeah, then I had her. Her name's June, and I
Aw.
just wanted to have real photos of her that were not just my iPhone photos that would be in some cloud somewhere and get lost. And a friend of mine who was a nurse took photos of her for me. She had a little photography business on the side, and I was like, gosh, if Becky, my friend who's a nurse, can teach herself how to take nice photos, like I can do this. I'm smart. And so yeah, that's how my journey started. And I bought that camera on maternity leave. I had like no money at all, maternity leave, zero benefits through my large hospital employer. And,
Mhm.
coming up with $400 was a lot. And I did anyways. And just taught myself, you know, for months and months and months how to take photos. And yeah, friends started asking me to take their photos. You post your pictures on Facebook or whatever. At the time, Facebook was still cool. There wasn't TikTok. This was 12 years ago. And everybody was like, "Oh, could you take photos for us?" And so that's kind of how this whole thing, photography, started for me. But I am actually an emergency room nurse, and I did that for 14 years. I
Wow.
did that all through having babies. And, it's kind of like the ER nurse stuff and then the photography started to go parallel to each
Yeah.
other. Like I was doing both at the same time and having babies. And my kids are all 2 years apart. So it's like every 2 years, churn out a new one.
Wow.
And by the third baby, I had been doing photography for almost, 6, 7 years as a hobby. And I was getting really good at it. And I was getting kind of busy at it, like I had a website at that point. I got my LLC. I got insurance. I had a studio that I was sharing with somebody else, and I was like becoming legit. Like I had a business. And I was still doing photography. Or I'm sorry, I was still being an ER nurse and being a mom to 3 kids. And it was just like it was something had to give.
Yeah.
And what happened was COVID hit. And
Mhm.
um that made me feel as a nurse like Oh my God, I am so replaceable. Like, if
Mhm.
I don't get the COVID shot, they're gonna fire me. Like,
Oh,
I don't matter as a
yep.
human being. You know,
Mhm.
I'm just a warm body
Yep.
to be in my role,
Mhm.
and I am not
Mhm.
appreciated. But I am not replaceable at home as a mom, you
Mhm.
know, and I can't get these years back with my kids. And my passion really is taking photos, and I'm good at it and I love it, and it doesn't even feel like a job. And
Mhm.
I was making money. Like, I was making money, and I was turning down, inquiries because I had to work my nurse job. And I'm like, well,
Mhm.
it's getting to like this weird breaking point.
Mhm.
And so finally in 2021, I had a bad shift at work. My boss,
Mhm.
I couldn't stand her. And it was, there was no forethought. Okay.
Yeah.
We had a conversation on the phone after a shift. She wasn't supporting me and standing up for me like she should have been. And I just was like, I'm done. This is my 2-week notice.
Yeah.
Bye. And I have never looked back. Like, I just like barreled head first
Mhm.
into photography. From that point on, that was
Mhm.
2021. And I keep my nursing license active, but I have
Mhm.
no plans to ever return to healthcare. And so that's my story. I don't know if you wanted the whole
Oh,
backstory,
I love it. I love
um,
it.
but that's where I'm coming from. And I knew that in order to not have to go back to nursing, I mean, my husband, I'm very fortunate. I
Yeah.
also want to say I'm coming from a place of privilege
Yeah.
because I am married and my husband has healthcare.
Yeah.
And we have
And
a
he's a
second,
nurse too, right?
and he's a nurse. So it's like
Yeah.
not like we're rich people. He's a
Mhm.
nurse. I was a
Mhm.
nurse. Like, we don't
Mhm.
have big tech jobs, or we're not CEOs or
Right.
anything, but we had 3 kids. But I came from a place of privilege in that I'm not like a single mom.
Right.
It's only my income, and now the health insurance, that's always a big thing. So, I knew that if I needed to get another job, I could. I mean, again, nurses are very replaceable. There's a million jobs out there. There's the big shortage. So I kind of had that in my back pocket. So I don't want people to think like, oh, she is acting like this is very doable. I was just in a very fortunate situation. And I've been very lucky that it's worked out for me so far.
Yeah.
But anyways, I knew that I did need to replace that income that I was making as a nurse,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
so, gosh, I was like, what needs to change with how I'm running my photography business? Because I was really
Mhm.
treating it like a hobby before. I
Yeah.
was. I wanted to grow, and I wanted to have clients, and I wanted people to like me and send their
Mhm.
friends to me and keep coming back to me. So what was I doing? I was offering minis to everybody. Nobody wanted to book a full session because my
Mhm.
minis were an hour long, and you got 100 photos, and they were like $100.
No.
And, like, so yeah, of course I was like super busy because everybody wanted to come to me for their $100 mini session with 100 photos. And it was just like, that's not sustainable. I didn't calculate my costs of doing business yet. Like, I didn't even know what that was. And so I knew that in order to stay in business, and not burn out, I needed to like relook at the business side of things and be more strategic with my time. And that's what I did. And in the community where I am, it's very suburban. Everybody wants mini sessions. Every family, they're like, for a multitude of reasons. Number one, the price seems like a better price for them. Like, oh, I don't want to spend more than $500 on photos. I don't know why, but $500 is like the cap for a lot of people in my town. Like, if it's more
Mhm.
than 500, whoa, okay. So they don't want to spend more than that. My children won't last more than 20 minutes, and oh, my husband hates photos. He won't last more than 20 minutes, right? So everybody wants to have mini sessions, and photographers have very strong feelings about mini sessions. I don't know
Yeah.
if you're in some of these online groups on Facebook or these forums, but like, I feel that there are photographers that either love mini sessions or they hate mini sessions,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
am I making this up?
No.
They have strong feelings, and I understand that. Some of them feel like mini sessions are taking away. from their business, because there's
Mm-hmm.
photographers like me who were charging nothing and giving like a full session experience, right? And so clients are getting used to that, and they want that from, they only want to spend a certain amount, and they expect like the full luxury of a full shoot and not what a mini session should be, right? And photographers that hate them, sometimes they're just like, they're too stressed out. Like they're like, oh my gosh, I can't do 5 families back to back. Like, what happens if the little kid doesn't cooperate, or somebody shows up late, or whatever it is, if it rains and you have to reschedule everybody. So
Yeah.
I totally see that. I
Yeah.
hear that. For me, I came from an emergency room, right? So
Yeah.
like, I'm an adrenaline junkie a little bit. Like, I
Yeah.
thrive on chaos. I like those feelings, the endorphins. I like go, 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 go. That feels good to me. And so
Yeah.
mini sessions back to back, yeah, they can be a little chaotic, a little stressful. You're
Mm-hmm.
not doing CPR on somebody. Okay?
Right.
You're taking pictures. It's fine. If you go a few minutes behind, it's going to be okay,
Mhm.
So, I don't know. If you don't like minis, it's okay. You don't have to do them.
Yeah.
But some people really like them, like me, and there is a big demand for minis, right? A lot
Yeah.
of families want to have mini sessions. And
Mm-hmm.
so I kind of built my business around mini sessions, because that's what my clients were used to and what they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And so my big this is what launched my mini session career. I'll tell you. In 2020, nobody could go see Santa Claus because of COVID.
Oh, right.
You remember that? And
Yes.
if you wanted to see Santa, you had to go to Gander Mountain and see him
Mhm.
behind the glass wall. I don't know if
Oh,
you guys had those. I know it's not just a Wisconsin thing, but like,
yeah.
you go to like the store and Santa would be there, and he'd be behind this glass partition, and you'd stand in front of the glass partition and Santa would be back
Oh my
there.
gosh.
Everybody would have their mask on.
Yeah.
And so there was no opportunity to see him. Mind you, I have kids that are like, 1, 3, and 5. I want my kids to go see Santa.
Yeah.
So I decided I'm going to have a Santa mini session in
Mm-hmm.
2020. Well, I'm vaccinated and my
Yeah.
Santa's vaccinated. So to me, even if I spent like $100, I spent very little on props. I got a couple trees from
Mhm.
Hobby Lobby. Again, I had my own studio that I was sharing with another photographer. I did have to buy my Santa a suit because he wasn't a professional Santa. He was my next door neighbor, and he could grow a white beard, like a real white beard. It wasn't fake. And I was like, "Would you want to be Santa?" And he was like, "Yes, I would. I would love to do that." And so like, I didn't even have to pay him. The overhead very minimal. And so to me, I was like, even if I barely sell any spots because it's, COVID, it's worth it because I could get my own kids' pictures with Santa. Of
Mhm.
course, I had like this very strict contract because I didn't want to get sued. I,
Right.
scared about like, oh God, if somebody gets COVID. But it
Yeah.
went fine. And in that year, I booked 35 Santa shoots, which I was
Wow.
like, this is amazing. That was the most minis I had ever booked, like for one event.
Mhm.
And everybody loved their photos, and it went amazing. And so the next year, and I called it the Santa Claus Experience
Yeah.
because it wasn't a mini, it was an experience. You got one-on-one
Mhm.
time with Santa. You got
Mm.
cookies. I had these freshly baked
Aw.
cookies from a local baker. And yeah, we prepped all the families with a questionnaire so that Santa would know the kid's name when they walk in the room, just make it
Mhm.
feel extra magical. And so we called it the Santa Claus Experience. That was in 2020. I was still working as a nurse,
Mhm.
and the next year I hosted the Santa Claus Experience, and word had gotten out. And this is how it is. I want to talk about this with minis.
Yeah.
But word had gotten out about this experience I had, and nobody else was offering the Santa thing at the time. The
Mm.
next year, guess how many Santa minis I booked?
100.
185.
Oh my Lord.
It was like, it was wild. And that's
Yeah,
like
that's
that
amazing.
my business just went like just straight up
Yeah.
from there.
Hmm.
And it's like minis are just such a great way to grow your business because you get these people in at a low price point. They just test you out as a
Yeah.
photographer,
Hmm.
185 families, and they love you. And then they go
Hmm.
tell, like, if everybody has one friend, they go tell all those people about you.
Hmm.
And these mini clients that came in for that cheap little 10-minute session are now booking you for the next newborn, right? Or for
Hmm.
their family photos that they want in the fall. So it's just such a great way to market
Hmm.
yourself as a photographer,
Hmm.
give everybody a taste. Like I say, it's like a piece of the cake. They're not getting like the whole
Yeah.
experience, the whole cake. They're just getting a taste of what it's like working with you. And they still get
Hmm.
beautiful photos for a lower price point. And so, ever since 2020, the Santa Claus experience has been my big ticket thing I do every year. It's like, yeah, I do about 200 sessions a year. It's wonderful. I love it. I love doing it so much. Um,
And
I
now, what
was,
does that look like? 200, how many weekends, or like walk me through what that looks like?
so for the Santa experience, every
Hmm.
session is 10 minutes long
Okay.
with no break in between.
Okay.
I do a 10-minute buffer every hour to
Okay.
catch up in case
Okay.
we're like running behind because kids are afraid of Santa, whatever.
Yep.
So we would do, if we started at 8 a.m., we would do like an 8 o'clock session, an 8:10, an 8:20, an 8:30, an 8:40, and nothing at 8:50, and then 9 o'clock would start fresh.
Okay.
So 10 minutes, 5 sessions per hour. uh, I'll usually shoot between 8 to 4. I really prefer natural light, and in winter at 4 o'clock it gets very dark, so we have
Yeah.
to be done by 4 or earlier. And like this past year, I did 2 weekends or like 4 days, 4 or 5 days. I don't know. We get a lot
Okay.
done very fast. I always have helpers.
Mhm.
Like I can't do that by
Yeah.
myself. I have a team that comes with me and
Right.
helps. So Santa's been my big thing, but I've kind of like utilized that momentum and the
Mhm.
amount of people coming from that and now come see me for a lot of things. I do seasonal minis. I'll do winter. So winter right now for me is studio work. I'm in Wisconsin and
Yeah.
it's like this week is our warm week. It's 27 out. This is called our heat wave right now. Last
Wow.
week with the wind chill, it was like negative 30. Some days the school got canceled. It
Ugh.
was unsafe to go to school. So we're in the studio.
Mhm.
I'm doing personality portraits, which are, just like those artistic, beautiful
Yeah, they're beautiful.
photos of children's faces or like siblings with just like a plain white backdrop. So I'll do
Hmm.
those. I'm doing something called nurture minis this year, which I've been wanting to do for a while.
Hmm.
They're skin to skin mother baby photos, like either
Hmm.
breastfeeding or bottle feeding, cuddling, but they're like very
Hmm.
stripped down. I love them. They're so beautiful. So I have those coming up,
Yeah.
and then sometimes I'll just do like basic studio minis, which I'm doing, just updated family photos indoor.
Hmm.
Sometimes in the winter, I'll do updated headshots for professionals because this is the time of year everybody wants to refresh their LinkedIn
Right.
profiles. So I'm always
Hmm.
trying to think where is the demand, right? Like what is
Yeah.
going to sell? I never want to waste my time offering a mini session that only one
Mhm.
person's going to book because that's not profitable.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do winter. I'll do spring, which will be outside with flowers or like flowering trees. We have these beautiful magnolia trees that bloom every April
Hmm.
with big white flowers on the tree or pink. Do those. Summer usually looks like going to Lake Michigan on the beach or just being in we have sunflower fields here. We're zone 5B, so we get like sunflowers, we get zinnias, so colorful things that, are short seasons, and then Fall's, I think every
Yeah.
photographer, the busiest time of year is fall. Everybody's
Yeah.
thinking about the pretty foliage or their Christmas card photo.
Right.
So yeah, I do a lot of minis. I counted for you. Last year I did 334.
Wow.
But I looked. Santa was only 177. So I did 177 Santa shoots.
Only.
And
Only
yeah,
177.
only. I don't know. I was a slacker last year. And then the rest of the 334 were what I just described, seasonal
Okay.
minis. And besides that, because I do get this sometimes. People come up to me and they're like, "Hey, you're that girl that does Santa. Do you do anything else?" I'm like, "Well, yeah. Like I do family photography and I do newborns, but I've gotten this
Mm-hmm.
reputation that, I'm the girl to go to for minis in the area,
That's
but
good.
I do family sessions. I
So
do
you're
newborns.
getting clients from your minis. They are converting to full sessions, correct?
Right, exactly. And it's such a
If you
good
were to
way to
just
provide.
ballpark like a percentage, and I know you do a ton of minis, so, but let's say ballpark, how many would you say convert to full sessions?
Mm, half at some
That's
point.
a lot.
Yeah,
That's
at some point,
amazing.
somebody's gonna have a baby or a senior or
Hmm.
want headshots or just like random stuff. I'll be the
Hmm.
photographer they'll go to. You do have those families that only do minis. I have
Right.
a
Mhm.
lot of those families.
Yeah.
Those families come every year. Every year they'll come in the
Mhm.
fall or they'll come to Santa,
Yeah.
and you get to really know them because they follow
Yeah.
you every year, but they're only booking a mini. That's all they're
Yeah.
doing. So it's like,
Yeah.
that's great too, because
Oh,
they're people
absolutely.
also.
Hmm.
Um, I just started on Black Friday this past year. I started a
Hmm.
new idea because I'm always thinking
Hmm.
of new ideas.
Yes.
And for me, January, February, March, it's hard. Like I'm not
Hmm.
making a lot of money those months, as
Yeah.
most of
I'm
us
so
are.
glad you said that. I'm so
Yeah,
glad you're transparent about that because I think a lot of newer photographers or even seasoned photographers that maybe they haven't maybe they've been in business for a long time and they haven't had a lot of time to market or they didn't know how. They just assume like you're rolling in it all year long and that's not really true
it's
for
not
most
true.
photographers.
What I'm doing is I'm making all that money in the fall and I'm putting it in a bank account and I'm living off
Yeah.
of that money. But really,
Mhm.
that's what you do when you're smart. You don't go
You
and
have to
blow
get
it
out of
all.
that 9 to 5 mentality. And that's
Yeah.
hard.
It's hard to not get a steady paycheck. And I'm in a
Hmm.
family that relies on my income, unfortunately. And so
Same. Yeah.
January, February, and March is very stressful when you're not making a lot of money and you
Yeah.
still have those bills. And so I came up with this idea to for those clients I just mentioned that always come to a mini session, probably,
Hmm.
twice a year. I can count on them coming. I created a membership for those clients.
Oh, I saw you did that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I called it the Collective, and
Yeah.
it's for clients that want to see me 2 or more times a year for a
Okay.
mini, or for it could be a mini and then a full. I had a few
Okay.
different packages, and it splits the payments over 12 months.
Hmm.
And so however much they would have spent for those sessions, they divide it
Hmm.
12 ways. And then I had some other perks in there, some
Okay.
upgrades. I'm going to send them free photo prints, things like that. They
Mm.
also get, the big thing is like they get priority with booking their sessions.
Hmm.
And I'm kind of like a marketing wizardy girl, not to brag, but like
I know you are.
I got my people dialed in. Like they really
Yeah.
truly are setting an alarm and they're going on their email the second that that email hits their inbox to book their spot. They are
Yeah.
trained. I have got them trained. And so
Mhm.
the other big perk of the Collective is that they don't have to do that anymore. And they can book into
Wow.
the spot that they want before it gets released to everybody else. And
Yeah.
so for me, now I have this guaranteed income stream coming in every
Mhm.
single month for those
Mhm.
mini session clients. And so now
Mhm.
I do get a paycheck. And
Right.
I mean, I'm only a few months into this. They all just sign up in November, but I am feeling really positive about this new membership and I'm hoping to
Yeah.
expand it next year because it so far so good and it's fun. And I
That's
have
amazing.
guaranteed sessions on the books now, right?
Right.
So I know
Yeah.
how many things I need to offer and
Mhm.
yeah. So that's cool. I want to
Yeah.
talk about that.
I want to talk about the photographer who's listening that is like, I would love to do minis, but I want to dip my toe in. Like you are like all in, you've got this whole system, and I know that's not how it started. Like you had to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And yes, you went quick and it was amazing. But what about a photographer that's like, I would love to do like one season of minis, maybe 2 weekends, I
Mhm.
think that you are a good fit for them as well. But I want you to talk about that even if you're not doing like 500 million minis like you are, and you're like the
Mhm.
mini session queen, you can still be incredibly profitable with 1 or 2 weekends, even if you just did it during the holidays. Can you kind of talk about that and where photographers get that wrong? It's like, how do you make them profitable versus just busy?
Right. I think the big thing that I see people doing wrong, number one, is spending too much money on their mini session. They'll go to Hobby Lobby and they'll buy hundreds of dollars worth of cute props for their backdrop,
Mhm.
and then they are not booking a session, and
Yeah.
that's sad. I think the best place to start, if you want to dabble, is to do
Mhm.
something that's going to cost you very little money. So
Yeah.
maybe go to a pretty park or a
Mhm.
location that you think would work well with your lighting
Mhm.
and with the time of year, with the weather, that costs you absolutely nothing. I'm
Right.
finding, maybe this is just a photography trend right now, I'm
Mhm.
finding that families don't want all the props. They really don't.
Right.
They want to be with their family and with their loved
Mhm.
ones, and they don't need the tchotchkes. You don't need to spend a lot
Right.
of money to host a mini.
Right.
Bring a
I
pretty
agree.
quilt. Bring a quilt. Like, bring
Yeah.
maybe a little crate
Mhm.
or something, a stool for a
Mhm.
kid to sit on. Don't spend money.
Mhm.
Number one, don't spend money on your, okay?
Mhm.
Number two, if you want to host a mini,
Mhm.
you need to be the boss. Okay. You need
Yeah.
to say, this is the day that the minis are happening, and these are the times. And then you need to
Mhm.
stick to that. If somebody's like,
Mhm.
oh, I want to do a mini, but I can't do that. Will you do my mini on a different day at a different time? No, I
No.
can't do that because
Mhm.
that's not profitable. You're spending
Right.
all that time and gas and like driving there, and then, you have to
Mhm.
call their session separate from, you want to stick to a block of time. And
Mhm.
you want to make sure you plan it in advance. So don't
Mhm.
say, hey, minis are this weekend, because nobody can get their ish
Right.
together that fast.
Mhm.
You want to plan this a good 4 weeks in advance, and then you want to
Mhm.
give yourself time to talk about your minis. Talk about it, talk
Mhm.
about it, talk about it, talk about it. Tell people until they're sick of it.
Mhm.
There's
Yes.
something,
Thank you for saying
yeah,
that.
there's something called the 7X rule. And I try and
Mhm.
remind myself of that, because sometimes I'm talking about my minis and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like embarrassing. Like, I say this so many times,
Mhm.
but you have to remember that nobody else besides yourself is seeing that
Mhm.
every piece of content you put out. Like, maybe
Right.
they're going to catch that one email, or maybe they'll see like one or two of your posts, but they're not seeing all your stories. They're not seeing
Mhm.
all your posts. They're not seeing it 7 times. You need to just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep
Mhm.
posting about it, because apparently the data shows that it takes 7 times of
Mhm.
exposure to
Yeah.
something before somebody's ready to make a purchase decision.
Yeah.
So, for instance, like, I'll look at something online on Instagram, I'll be shopping, and I'll,
Mhm.
X out, put it in my cart, but forget about it. And then that thing shows up
Oh, yeah.
on a
Mhm.
sponsored ad 10 days in a row. And finally I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, I really want those comfort sweatpants or whatever it is. Like, you need that exposure. It's the same thing with your mini sessions. So
Yeah.
I think in order to feel good about it, just back
Mhm.
to like the basics, you want to give yourself enough lead time to sell enough spots, right? Like, you want to have
Mhm.
enough families in a row to make it worth your
Mhm.
time, to make it profitable,
Mhm.
and to give you that real feeling of like doing multiple families back to back, right? So
Yeah.
give yourself plenty of time to talk about your mini, to share about it, and to market it.
Mhm.
Do it for as cheap as possible. I wouldn't recommend doing Facebook ads or anything like that,
Mhm.
but you could always post in the Facebook groups. I still do that. There's no
Yeah,
shame in
me
that.
too.
There
Mhm.
really is no shame. People are always like, "Hey, is
Mhm.
anybody doing photos?" Like, put yourself in
Yeah.
there, because other
Mhm.
people are looking at the thread, and you might grab a new
Mhm.
client just from like somebody
Mhm.
lurking.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but just try it out. If you're scared that, 10, 15 minutes isn't enough time for you, that's okay. Give yourself like a 5-minute break in between your
Yeah.
minis, and like,
Mhm.
you dial in your own process. Maybe for you,
Right.
a mini is going to be 20 minutes, like I would still suggest you keep them short and sweet and
Yeah.
don't have a bunch of time in between minis where you're just sitting
Mhm.
there doing nothing because you're
Yeah.
not making money, right? Like
Right.
if you add up all the time in between your minis,
Mhm.
that's time that you could have like had another session, right? And
Right.
made some money. So I guess that's my biggest advice for
Yeah.
beginners.
Yeah, and I think it's okay too, like you said, you don't have to do minis that are 10 minutes right out of the gate. You can start with 20 minutes, and then once you get
Mhm.
it down and get your nerves out and you've got one down, you're like, I could do 15 because you realize
Right.
for a mini, if you have a workflow, you really don't need that. You don't need that much time. So I'm glad you mentioned that. And I'm glad you mentioned like not buying a bunch of stuff because my minis that I do, I just go to a tree farm and I'm lucky they don't charge photographers, but even if I did go somewhere, I would just make sure it's priced right so that that pays for itself and everything like that. So I'm
Right.
glad you mentioned that. How do you, because I hear this a lot too. What do you tell a photographer that's like, okay, I told them I'm going to deliver this many, but I have 10 more I want to give. What would you say to that?
Well,
No.
I used to give them all the photos because
Yeah.
I wanted them to like me
Yeah.
and I wanted to go above and beyond. You know, like you always want
Mhm.
to under promise and
Right.
over deliver.
Yep.
And so the way I under promised and over delivered was I would say, oh, this includes 10 photos. And then
Mhm.
I was giving them like 50 photos or 100,
Yeah.
like I said. Now, how I under promise and over deliver is I
Mhm.
always tell them it's a 3-week turnaround time and
Yep.
then I get them their photos sooner. That's
Yeah.
how I under promise and over deliver. That costs me no money.
Mhm.
If
Right.
I have a wonderful gallery, which I usually do,
Mhm.
I send them this is what I do. I send them
Mhm.
all the photos, right?
Mhm.
I send them
Mhm.
all the amazing photos and they're edited. I don't believe in
Yeah.
proofs. I think
Yeah.
that that takes too much of your time. Again, time is
Yeah.
money. You want to
Mhm.
price yourself based on how much time your mini session is taking you all in. You don't want to have to go
Mhm.
back and back with people.
Mhm.
And so send them all the photos. And then what
Yeah.
you need to do is you let them choose which
Right.
photos they want to keep. And all of the gallery platforms now allow you to control the
Mhm.
download settings. And
Right.
so you can set like, hey, if there was 10 images included or whatever, you can set they can only download 10 photos. You let them make the
Mhm.
choice, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. But you offer upgrades, is that correct?
Mhm. Yep. I allow them to purchase additional images or at a discounted price, they can buy the whole gallery of images.
So you give them all the images, but they only get a certain amount that they paid for, and then they have to upgrade to do more. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I use Shootproof for
Yeah.
that. It's
Mhm.
amazing. At first I was like, oh, something's gonna glitch and they're still gonna get all their photos, but
Mhm.
I'm knocking on wood. It's never glitched. It works
Yeah.
perfectly. I put very clear instructions in the gallery delivery email,
Yeah.
especially if it's a new person to me. And maybe
Mhm.
they just assumed, oh, she's going to just like let me have all my photos. I
Yeah.
make it very clear that it's just whatever was included. Yeah.
Yeah. I use Shootproof for minis too. I use PicTime for everything else, but for my minis, I do love Shootproof. And I've had one family accidentally download the wrong one and I just gave it to them. I mean, it happens, it's fine, but
Hmm.
I've never had an issue and it's been really clear. And I love Shootproof for that. So I'm glad you
Same.
mentioned that.
Yeah, they're amazing for that.
Yeah.
Plus, maybe I need to research some of the other programs, but Shootproof
Mhm.
has like a music feature. I don't. Do you have that, Jamie?
Um, I think I did when I used it for fulls. I can't remember. I've used PicTime for so long now, but I don't use it for minis. Are you
I
using it for that?
Yeah, I set everybody's gallery to music. So when they get
Oh,
like their Santa experience photos, like it's got
mhm.
Christmas music in the background or
Oh, I
whenever,
love that.
like I do a Mother's Day thing for Mother's Day
Mhm.
and I put like sentimental music on. And I don't know, I just feel like there's something to it. Like the music while they first view their gallery, it creates
Mhm.
like an emotional experience
It
and I
does,
think
yeah.
sometimes leads to an emotionally charged purchase, you
Yes.
know? So I think like that's just like the
Mhm.
extra like cherry on top.
Yeah.
So I love Shootproof for that.
Yeah. What do you say to photographers that are listening or that you've heard in the past that mini sessions lower like their brand, like they cheapens them? Because I know that's not true, especially for you. But what do
Yeah.
you say to that?
I mean, like I said, if minis aren't for you, they're not for you, right? For
Hmm.
me, I totally hear that and I agree with it. If you were
Hmm.
doing the minis like Katie 5 years ago was
Yeah.
doing them, where you're giving away the whole farm for free, totally. That is
Yeah.
correct. You are cheapening
Mhm.
your brand. If
Yeah.
you adapted systems that actually make you more money and give your
Hmm.
clients more options, then no, I disagree. I don't think that they are cheapening your brand. I think that they are actually growing your business with a lot of
Hmm.
new clients, and I think they're making you a hell of a lot more money. If I make more money on a mini session than on a full, which
Yeah.
kind of sucks because I would like to
Hmm.
make more on a full, but I just I don't know. The market for where I live,
Hmm.
I have raised my prices. I've done that thing where you raise your prices, you wait 3 months.
Yeah.
If you're not booking, it's it's not a sustainable price. So I just
Right.
kind of keep my prices where they're at and price them
Hmm.
very similarly to my minis,
Hmm.
where they only include a set amount of downloads and then you can upgrade. And so
Right.
that I do the same system for full sessions too, and it's worked
Mhm.
great for me.
Yeah. What do you say to somebody that feels like mini sessions are going to compete with their full sessions? Because it seems like you're using your mini sessions as like that low cost entry point and they get a taste of your work and then they love you and then it
Mhm.
steps them into that. But what about somebody that feels like, well, now I just feel like I'm competing with that?
Yeah, then you need to change how you're offering your mini sessions.
Hmm.
I think another big flaw with minis is that people are offering them all the time.
Yeah.
Or if somebody reaches out and they're like, hey, I want to book with you, but I only need a mini, I don't need a full for this. Well, I don't have minis. The next mini I have is like for Mother's Day. Is that what you
Yeah.
want? You
Hmm.
can't just book a mini whenever you want. And minis should be like super specific to like a season or a theme. So,
Right.
like Santa, Mother's Day, headshots,
Hmm.
maybe there's like, an outdoor summer or fall thing, but for the most part, they're only serving like a very specific need. And people that want just like a regular family session or a newborn, that unless they can get their family in for one of those, general family summer fall minis, then and they want to wait for that one date that's available, it might not work with their schedule. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
if you
I
want to
see.
book a real session at any time, at any date, at any location of your choosing, you have to book a full session.
Yeah. I've had some people tell me they're like, "Oh, I want to book a mini, but it feels too Christmassy." And I'm like, "Well, good, that's the point because if you don't want
Right.
Christmassy, then you got to do a full."
Right. It like
Like if
forces
you want to go to the
people.
coast, it's a full
Yeah,
price.
it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
So if they want to pick the date, the time, the location, then they're booking
Hmm.
a full.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
You kind of talked about this, but what systems and boundaries do you have in place for your business to grow like that? Like, and how do you like client communication and things? How do you do that with so many people without feeling just completely overwhelmed?
I am a big fan of automations and
Mhm.
building things in the background to work for
Mhm.
me behind the
Mhm.
scenes. And so before I even offer a mini session, I'm writing all the emails for that mini session. I'm writing
Mhm.
every piece of marketing for that mini session.
Mhm.
And then I'm just setting it and forgetting it. So if
Mhm.
somebody books their mini, bam, the email goes out to them and it's personalized. And then they'll, based on timestamps, then they'll get an email with like
Mhm.
what to wear. Then they'll get a reminder email. Then after their
Mhm.
session, they'll get an email saying thank you. Then they'll get an
Mhm.
email with their gallery, and then they'll get a follow-up email saying like, "Hey, your gallery is going to expire." And so
Mhm.
that's all happening. And I don't know, maybe the clients know that everybody's getting those emails, but
Mhm.
it's very systematic how I have it set up. So really the only work I'm doing is I'm building all those pieces for
Mhm.
each mini, and then I'm shooting it, editing it, delivering it, and
Mhm.
I'm not like doing any upselling. Like my systems are doing that for me on the back
Mm-hmm.
end. When a client makes a purchase on their gallery, that's all happening through ShootProof. I don't have to do anything. It's pretty slick. And so once you've done a couple minis, it gets even better because you just like kind of copy. You can copy
Yeah.
everything from like the previous mini you did and maybe
Mm-hmm.
just change a few details, and it's all built for you already. Very
Mm-hmm.
little work for that. So, um, yeah, I haven't had a lot of clients have issues with it. If somebody emails me a question or like a specific need, obviously I'll respond to that, but it's certainly not all 300 of my clients, right? Like that's an
Right.
outlier. Most of everybody is being served and taken care of through the systems I've built.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And for my mini sessions, I love the program Session. It's
Mm-hmm.
usesession.com. Huge fan of that. I'm one of
Yes.
their affiliates. I have a discount code if you guys
Oh,
want it. If
perfect.
you want to try
Yes.
it, I'll give you the link.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just usesession.com/Katie. Like, I think
Okay.
that's it.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. But yeah, it's incredible. It has an entire booking page on there. So
Mm-hmm.
you can put your minis, the time slots. It makes it so people cannot double book. They don't
Yeah.
get cart jacked. And the
Mm-hmm.
coolest part is that you can see as a photographer in real time as the spots
Mm-hmm.
are getting booked. Like they
Yeah.
change color from like yellow to orange
Mhm.
to green. It's really cool. And
Yeah.
if you have a bunch of people booking at the same time and like all the
Mhm.
spots are like lighting up, you're like, ah, it's just like, it's
Yeah.
so fun.
That
And
is
then
fun.
you can set up your emails to
Mhm.
automate just as I described. They now have the gallery feature, but again,
Mhm.
I'm still on ShootProof because I love ShootProof. I don't know if I'll ever
Yeah.
switch from them.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I have a lot of stuff built up, a lot of systems in place to make these run
Yeah.
smoothly, as you can imagine when
Mhm.
you're doing hundreds.
Yeah.
Um,
And that
about
took some time and some
it
trial and error, I'm
it
sure.
took
Yeah.
time. It took trial and error. I did things wrong.
Sure.
I don't know. I found that there wasn't a lot of other photographers doing minis like me, at least not the
Mhm.
amount of volume.
Mhm.
And so I did learn things the hard way a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of things were trial and error,
Mhm.
mistakes, or just kind of figuring out what works best.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I saw a need for education around mini sessions because I
Mhm.
look in these Facebook groups and I cringe. I see what people are offering as a mini
Yeah.
session. I'm like, girl, no, no, mini session is not $30. And I saw you spend 300 at Hobby Lobby on this. Like, no.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, about 2 years ago in the winter during slow
Mhm.
season, I was like, I'm gonna like create some education for people that want to do mini sessions like me
Mhm.
because there's definitely a client need for them.
Yes.
And people want to do minis because they see how much
Mhm.
money you can make. I mean, really, you could
Mhm.
do, 4 minis in an hour versus one full shoot in an hour. Do the math.
Mhm.
Like you can make a lot more money doing minis. And so I created an ebook called the Mini Session Manual,
Mhm.
and it talks about everything kind of that we just discussed, how I
Mhm.
structure my minis, what's included,
Mhm.
um, my two-step pricing strategy.
Mm.
That's got some psychology behind it. I'm
Yeah.
very big into like shopping psychology and buyer habits, and
Yeah.
I like to dial into that
Mhm.
with with my own business. And then yeah, I have some templates in there for writing your emails, how to like set up your gallery settings through ShootProof so
Mm.
that you make sure you do your downloads correctly, how to automate everything behind the scenes. So it's basically like,
That's a
those
lot.
yellow books you see at Barnes and Noble, and it's like something for dummies. Like
Yes.
anything for dummies, that series, this is that. It's mini session.
Okay.
You're not a dummy though. It's just
Yeah.
called a mini session manual, and it just shows
Mhm.
people exactly how to do minis from start to finish if they're
Mhm.
interested in doing it profitably,
Mhm.
and growing their business at the same time.
Yeah, amazing. It sounds like it's packed full of really helpful stuff to get started. So, that brings me to my next question: is who would you say your course is best suited for?
I'd
Is it a
say
certain time year or a couple years in, or what do you think?
I will tell you that my course does not cover how to take good photos. So, if you are somebody that's still learning your camera, if you're somebody who takes photos that look good at some sessions but not others, maybe you haven't found your
Mhm.
style yet, maybe you're still dabbling with presets and lighting is still a
Mhm.
challenge, I would say this course, you're not there yet. You need
Mhm.
to have consistent photography work in order for this
Mhm.
to work for you, right? Because the clients that want to hire you for a mini, they want to know what they're getting. They want like a guaranteed promise of like, this is what your work looks like. So if
Mhm.
you're there, if you're somebody that's got a consistent style, that's confident with your camera, and you are ready for the challenge of mini sessions, and you think like you might be an adrenaline junkie like me
Mhm.
and you want to grow your business, I would say you're there. So this is for you if you want to learn how to run a sustainable and profitable mini session. Obviously, you don't only have to do mini sessions. This is just going to teach you my method and how to make the most money that you possibly can for each mini. Um, yeah. So,
I noticed something you said one time. I don't know if it was in your stories or something. I remember thinking, I'm gonna have to ask her that. Um, how do you fill these minis without running ads? Like, do you have this huge email list? I mean, because I think that's tough when you're newer and you don't have a lot of followers. You might not have a big email list and
yeah.
you're not running ads. I know you had a lot of success through referrals, but what if you don't? How would you coach somebody on that?
Okay. Well, I will say this. Growth is slow. Like
Yeah.
there's no such thing as overnight success, right?
Yeah, amen to
So
that. Glad you said that.
I hate when people compare themselves to other photographers. It's like that girl has been grinding for 7 years. That was me. Like I had been grinding
Mhm.
since I gave birth, and it wasn't until
Yeah.
2020. Like she was born in 2014, mind you.
Mhm.
So it's not overnight. It does take time.
Mhm.
Some
Mhm.
ways that I have been very successful and other people would be doing collaborations with other community people. So I just did this 2 weeks ago. Again, I've been in this business for a little bit. I'm still doing free shoots because
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
need to
same. Mhm.
constantly be acquiring new clients. You know, it's like the cost of doing business, you got to do that client acquisition. So I just partnered with like a local mommy group, and all these mommies came with their new baby and they all paid
Mhm.
$30 and they got a coffee, a cookie. We met at this pretty space and I did photos for each and every one of them
Oh,
for
I saw
free.
that on your
I
stories.
did
That
it.
was
Yep, I
beautiful.
did it for free. I photographed 60 moms. I did this in October too. I photographed 80 moms. And
Wow.
guess what? These moms are booking me. They came to Santa. Somebody came and saw me on January 28th, and like the January 30th, she booked me for
Mhm.
a newborn session with the same baby who's like already a few weeks old, but still like
That's
this
amazing.
is how you get yourself out there. So
Mhm.
sometimes you just have to like do stuff for free and you have to grind. And
Yeah.
that I'm
Mhm.
sorry, but you do.
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
How did you get hooked up with this place? Like, what did that look like?
I just reached out to them. You know, I found them on Instagram. I saw that, you know, they're kind of serving the ideal client, the
Okay.
client avatar.
Yep.
You know, the new mom that might want photos, that has some expendable
Mhm.
cash and like likes to do the
Mhm.
community stuff. And I saw that they
Mhm.
do a lot of collaborations, and I'm like, hey, you need a photographer? Let me do it for you. And
Mhm.
so yeah, that would be an example of just like getting out in the community, collaborating with
Mhm.
somebody that's got the same ideal client as you, right? Like it's got to make
Mhm.
sense. You know, if
Right.
you're marketing yourself to like families, you want to go
Mhm.
where the families are going, right? So like
Mhm.
whatever that looks like for you, collaborate with other people that maybe have like a big following that are
Mhm.
going to like get your name out there and spread awareness.
So
Um,
did you just like slide into their DMs and you message them and ask them this, or did you go in? What did that look like?
Yeah, I can't honestly remember if they
Mhm.
DM'd me or it was definitely a DM for sure.
Okay. Mhm.
Um, and you know what? This wasn't my first collab with them. My first collab, which is my other piece of advice, was a giveaway. We did a
Mm.
giveaway for a Santa shoot like 2 years
Mm.
ago,
Okay.
and they posted it to their members. And it's like,
Mhm.
hey, we're doing a giveaway with Katie Emanuelson Photography for a free Santa shoot, but it wasn't just me. Then they were
Mhm.
giving away like a gift card to this like cute restaurant in town. Then they were
Mm.
giving away a gift certificate to a children's boutique. And it was like I was collaborating with like 4 other businesses all in the same area that all kind of have the same clients that I want. Right. And so, like, then, oh, if you want to be in the giveaway, you have to follow me. You have to join my email list, blah, blah, blah. And so, not only did I get like a ton of new followers, but I got a ton of people on my email list. I got I got people seeing that I was even doing a Santa experience. They didn't win the
Right.
giveaway, but then they booked the Santa experience because
Mm-hmm.
they hadn't heard about it otherwise. So, like there's a lot of things you can do. Yes, you had to give away a free shoe, but it's just another great marketing thing that I didn't run an ad, right? It didn't
Right.
cost me anything. It costed me one Santa shoot, but that's okay because I got a bunch of other Santa shoots off
Right.
of it, grew my email list, got more followers.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, so I mean, there's lots of things that you can do when you're new and just starting out to kind of get word of mouth out there. So that's what I would suggest.
Yeah. That kind of brings me to my next question is what's like one lesson that surprises photographers when they're in your course?
Mm. I'll just give you something very specific.
Okay.
So this one girl who's kind of like, she's not my competition, but like she's a new photographer. She's in my
Okay.
area. She's
Yep.
like in the same town. She bought my course.
Mm-hmm.
She said that she was super surprised because I send them their galleries, like the
Mm-hmm.
finished mini session gallery, you get it sent out. And she was like, "Oh my God, I just had an aha moment from your course." And I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "You put an expiration date on your gallery."
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, "Yeah." She's
Yeah.
like, "I never thought that I should have an expiration date." I'm like, "Well, how else do
Yes.
you get them to purchase anything without an expiration date? They're just gonna never do anything. They're gonna leave those downloads there in the cloud forever." No, you
Yeah.
make an expiration date and you kind of make it a small expiration date to force
Mm-hmm.
them. It's like, the sales pressure of like,
Mm-hmm.
what's the word I'm thinking of? Scarcity or whatever. Like you have
Right.
like a limited amount of time to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
and then your photos just they're gone. They're not gone.
Yeah.
But they think that they're gone, and so that was like an aha moment somebody had. And so I have a lot of little nuggets like that in the class.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that's a typical transformation that your students experience in your course? Like it's just these little nuggets over time that they're learning. Like I think a lot of people think I'm gonna have this like big thing, but really it's these small, tiny
Yeah,
nuggets that you learn that really actually move the needle. Do you
right.
feel like that is the biggest transformation your students get, or are you feeling like it's a mix of both?
I think it's both. There's another girl, she was in my mastermind. We did like a big coaching thing together
Mhm.
last year, and so she bought a different thing I sell, which is like a video course. And she's like, ever since I took that, like I never thought I could do minis, and I just made like thousands of dollars. And I had never tried minis before, and it was just like, oh my God, this is like so amazing, and I'm gonna do this from now on. And why didn't I start this sooner? And so I guess it's both. It's like if you've never tried minis and you are starting from zero, this is an awesome place to start. Like you're not tainted yet. And then my other student who's already done minis, and she's kind of already got her own strategy. Now she's picking up nuggets. So maybe she's not like doing everything exactly like me, but she's picking and choosing what she can kind of
Yeah.
implement into her own system. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So I think either way, it's a win.
Yeah. I love that. What would you feel a photographer that feels stuck right now? That they're posting on social media, they're not getting any bookings, just like a general like word of wisdom that you would give a photographer listening right now, because I think a lot of photographers that are listening, maybe you're feeling that way and you've been so successful. What would you tell them right now if they're listening?
Find a community of other photographers
Mm-hmm.
because we're all going through it, girl. You're
Yeah.
only seeing the highlight reel on Instagram. You don't know what's
Yes.
really
Yes.
happening. We're
Mm-hmm.
all we're all doing the same stuff, especially in slow season, And
Mhm.
I think for me, the biggest transformation was when I joined Elena Blair's
Yeah.
mastermind and started going to her retreats and just
Yeah.
expanded my network of photographers. And they're not all in my
Mhm.
town, so there's not that weird, icky, oh, we're friends, but
Yeah.
like you're kind of my competition.
Yeah.
Everybody's from all over the country, even the different continents. And,
Yeah.
just have those people that you can lean on and bounce ideas off. And, I think that's so important because this is such a lonely job. I mean, really it is. Like, you're a one person show. The people that maybe that are doing the same thing as you in your town, maybe they don't want to tell you all their secrets, so there's always that weird ickiness. And just, I don't know, find your people. And, that would be my biggest piece of advice right now.
Yeah, amen to that. I think community is huge.
Hmm.
How would you define success now compared to early in your career?
Um, so for me, I feel like I'm at the point now where I've got a great work-life balance.
Yeah.
Before it was just hustle, 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 respond to that DM at midnight, always checking my emails, always editing until 2 a.m. I finally, after a few years, figured out my boundaries. Like, I really don't. I slam the meme, slam laptop shut it on Friday. That is me. I'm not doing stuff on the weekends unless I have a shoot. I'm not responding to DMs in the middle of the night. I have an editing system. I outsource that. Like, the work-life balance is such a win. And I think that to me is success. The whole, back to my, you know, original comments, like, I just wanted to be a mom. I'm not
Yeah.
replaceable in the house. And so being more present for them,
Yeah.
that is success to me. And so,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
took a long
that's the
time to
whole
get
reason
there.
why I started too. Yeah. I'm glad
Mhm.
you mentioned that first. I do want to ask you about money in a second. I just a heads up, I did ask her if it was okay if I asked her how much money she made. So if you're listening and you're like, Jamie, that's rude, we did talk about it. But yes, I would say for sure being able to be a mom first. I thought we had a similar story, but when you were talking about all healthcare stuff, like it's so similar, and I can so relate to that. And I think a lot of listeners know I was a healthcare provider too. I was a dental hygienist for almost 20 years and got really burnt out, and COVID was the nail in the coffin for me. And
Mhm.
that's a whole nother podcast story. But I just wanted to be a mom. I just wanted to be there, and I felt like I worked so hard to get to that career, and then all of a sudden, like, I had my son, and I was like, why do I not want this anymore? Why is it so clear to me that I'm like, I can't do this anymore?
Mhm.
So I love that you mentioned that. But also we do have to pay our bills. So I do want to ask you, you went from nursing, where it is a great career and you do make good money,
Yeah.
but I want you to tell us how much money you made, because I want somebody listening that is maybe in healthcare, maybe they're a teacher or a therapist or anybody that's like, I really want to do this, but I just don't believe I can make enough. Can you tell us how much you've made and maybe a little nugget of wisdom about that?
Yeah. So when I was the very tail end of my nursing career, I was only doing 24 hours a week, and I was
Mm-hmm.
making like 75,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, good money, right? And so the
Right.
goal was to just be able to make 75K a year as a
Mm-hmm.
photographer. That was the goal, just to match my nursing income. And the first year, I guess the first year I went full time. So
Mm-hmm.
2021, I quit my job. 2022, the first year I went full time, I made $272,000
Mm-hmm.
that
That's
first year
amazing.
full time. And every
Yeah.
year since has been somewhere between, yeah, between 250 and 300
Yeah.
consistent. It's never
Mm-hmm.
dropped below
Mm-hmm.
that. And so,
Mm-hmm.
it's possible. I will tell you, more than half of that income is mini sessions. Like, I'm consistently
Yeah.
making over 150K in minis yearly. That's why I'm so
Mhm.
passionate about it. That's why I'm
Yeah.
so passionate in helping others learn how to do them profitably, because it's possible. Like, I'm just some
Mhm.
small town girl that's self-taught from
Mhm.
Wisconsin. I'm not even in some like luxury town. Um,
Mhm.
and so yeah, it's possible. Go for it.
Yeah. Do you drink a lot of caffeine at your minis? Like, are you fully caffeinated and ready to go? And
Oh
you feel
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
that's
Like
you?
3 Starbucks and then like a Stanley
Okay.
size from home. Like, always.
Okay.
Diet
I was
Diet
gonna say
Coke.
that is
Diet Coke.
unhuman. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
I like doing them. I love them.
Yeah,
They're fun.
I know. Yeah, that's amazing. So
Hmm.
what's next for you, both personally and professionally, like this next year?
I'd like to grow my education platform, which I formally opened in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of keep growing that, keep putting out educational resources for people that want to learn. Right now, I'm only teaching about minis, but I feel like I have a lot
Mm-hmm.
more to offer to the
Oh
photography
my gosh,
world.
yes.
Um, I opened a studio share, so I have my own
Amazing.
studio in kind of near where I live, and I've been renting that out to other photographers. So that's just like another little stream of income. And yeah, I don't know. I don't have like huge business goals this year. I want to just travel to all the national parks, and I've been planning
Ugh,
that.
yeah. Mhm. Are you coming to the Pacific Northwest again?
I want to.
Yeah.
I don't have anything on the calendar right now, but I would
Okay.
love to. That's like my favorite
Yeah.
part of the country.
Yeah. It
Hmm.
is really nice, and I take it for granted because I'm from here. But when I photograph tourists and like
Yeah,
listening, to you, like, okay, it is really cool. It's
it's
just hard when
incredible.
it's the dark comes. I'm like, ugh.
It's dark. It's dark here too, though, and we don't have
I
the ocean
know.
and mountains and mist. You
Yeah.
guys with the
Yes.
misty trees and like, oh, I
We
just
do. I live out in the country, and it's been oddly really nice this winter, and almost so nice that I'm like, it scares me. I'm like, are we gonna have a ton of wildfires? I hope
right,
not. But when
right.
I walk my dog out in the woods behind my house, we always have the mist, and I do love it. I used to hate it, but I kind of
Hmm.
embraced it now a little bit more. So yeah, it
Yeah,
is nice,
it's
but
beautiful.
it's not very warm right now.
Yeah.
Okay, few more questions and then we're gonna wrap up. These are just like quick fire questions.
Okay.
What's one mini session myth you would love to retire?
That they're not profitable.
Yes. What is one non-negotiable in your business?
Mm, boundaries.
Yes. And what is one piece of advice you'd give your earlier self?
Charge more.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. Well,
Yeah.
this has been so amazing. So many nuggets. I know this is going to be so inspiring and helpful to people listening. So I so appreciate your time and congratulations on your success and being able to be a mom and be present because that is the most important part.
Amen, sister.
Yeah, thank you so
All
much.
right. Well, thanks, Jamie. This
You're
was fun.
welcome.